Welcome in. Belly up, have a seat, and grab a drink as we talk some Wingman Fantasy Football. Welcome into another edition of Wingman Fantasy Football, the League Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Furley, and as always, I'd like to thank all of you, or any of you who may be watching or listening to today's show. This is episode 144, a Week 17 Sunday Morning Quickie. This is the championship week, people, and we are wishing the best of luck to all of our managers out there who have a chance to take home the title. In this show, we will see who's in and who's out for Week 17. And we'll let you know the very best way to get the most updated news to help you set your fantasy football lineups. But before we do any of that, let's make sure that everybody is in the room. Wingmen assemble! All right, now that everyone is here, let's see who's in or who's out, who's hurt and who's not in this week's inactives. All right, let's take a look at this real quick. Starting off with players that were placed on the IR or who are on the IR and because of that going to miss Week 17. We have a couple surprises here, guys. Chuba Hubbard was placed on the IR on Saturday, and he's going to miss the remainder of the season and, more importantly, the championship game for fantasy football. CeeDee Lamb, star wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys, was also placed on IR this week, meaning his fantasy season is over. Kenneth Walker, Texas Ranger, finishes his season on the IR, and he's out for the championship week as well. Of course, they've already played on Thursday night. Austin Eckler has one more week before he can return. It's 1 week too late. He is also going to be out of our lineups this week. Christian Olave is on the IR designated to return, but he was not activated for this weekend's game, meaning he will not suit up for the Saints this week. On the other hand, we have J.K. Dobbins return to the field this week as he was activated. And for those managers who had the guts to put him in, he had a fine day getting in the end zone and accumulating enough yards to make it worth your while. J.K. Dobbins got back on the field just as Gus Edwards was being ruled out. All right, now for other players that are going to be out for the rest of this weekend here, we have Tony Pollard is not going to play this week. He is out. Uh-oh. Anthony Richardson is also going to be out this week, meaning Joe Flacco will be the starter for the Colts against the Giants. Cedric Tillman cannot clear this concussion protocol and going to miss his 5th straight game. Cade Otton, Tampa Bay tight end, is also out this week. He's going to miss his 2nd consecutive game. Alvin Kamara is also not going to play this week, making way for Kendra Miller, hopefully to have a better showing than he did last week in that horrible matchup against the Green Bay Packers in the shutout last Monday night. And teammate for the Saints, Derek Carr, is also not going to play today. David Njoku is going to miss his 3rd straight game. He is now out. And Jalen Hurts, this is a biggie, especially for managers who were able to survive that dud last week due to his concussion, but he is not going to play today. Uh-oh. Sterling Shepard, Tampa Bay wide receiver, has already been ruled out. And David Montgomery, Detroit running back, has been ruled out for the Monday night game. Now for players who are not officially ruled out yet, but we've got a range of players from not expected to play to expected to play. Starting off with quarterback Tua Tagovailoa for the Miami Dolphins. He's been downgraded to doubtful, meaning he is not expected to play. They have already upgraded Skylar Thompson to the active roster. Christian Watson is listed as questionable, has a small sliver of a chance to play this week, but at the moment he is not expected to play. Similar with Jalen Waddle, has a small sliver of a chance to play, but it looks like he too is not going to play this week. Tyreek Hill is dealing with a wrist injury among other ailments, but he is expected to give it a go today. Malik, won't you be my neighbors?
Won't you be my neighbor?
is expected to suit up for the Giants today against the Colts in Devontae Adams. Oh, Devontae Adams. He is going to play today for the Jets. And Isaac Guerrero is expected to play for the 49ers, a return to the lineup as they play on the Monday night game. So have a backup plan ready just in case something changes if you are planning on playing him in your lineup for the championship week. But all indications are that he will make it back onto the field. All right, now for players who had injury designations throughout the week, those designations have been lifted, and these guys are going to play. Zach Ertz, Washington tight end, is going to play. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, Cleveland quarterback, is going to play. Tyrone Tracy is also going to play today. Josh Allen, shaking off that elbow injury, he's going to play. Adam Thielen popped up late in the week with a hamstring injury. We weren't sure if it was a day of rest and they had to put something on paper or if it truly was a new injury. Nonetheless, he has no injury designation next to his name, and he is going to play for the Panthers. We have a pair of backup running backs for the Jets who have been banged up, but they are both off the injury report, and they are going to play, that being Braylon Allen and Isaiah Davis. I expect Breece Hall to have a monster day today. And A.J. Brown, Philadelphia wide receiver, was a little banged up last week, but he is off the injury list, and he is going to play. All right, guys, in terms of a weather watch here, the weather looks decent. There's a little bit of caveat here. It's going to be warm around the country today, relatively warm for your region here. We've gotten the 70s in the south. We've gotten the 60s and 50s in the northeast. But everywhere you look that's outdoors, it's going to be warm. It's going to be overcast, and it's going to be humid and or damp. There's a chance of rain in almost every game today. And if it's not raining, it's going to be a humid, muggy day. So keep that in mind. I don't see big-time downpours coming as of yet. So if you've got quarterbacks who can't handle the wet football, keep that in mind. Brock Purdy plays on Monday night, and Tua is not going to play this week. So those type of players that have a history of not being able to handle the wet football, they're not playing on Sunday. So just keep that in mind. It is not going to be cold, not going to be snowy. It's going to be a little damp and a little warm. All right, we do not have our official starts of the week from the show this week as we are winding down in terms of the fantasy season. We are trying to minimize some of our responsibilities. However, if you are in a pinch, if your horses are down, I do have some championship week emergency starts for you. I am looking here at quarterback Joe Flacco. I think he's going to have a good day today. Also, Tajay Spears with Tony Pollard out is going to be the sole back, mixed in with maybe a backup fullback here. He, against the Jacksonville Jaguars, nonetheless, I'm expecting him to have a monster day. He might be the surprise player to help you take home some championships. Now for some receivers. I've got Josh Downs and Michael Pittman potentially to be on the other side of the Joe Flacco good day. But if you don't want to deal with which one of those guys to pick, also consider Jalen McMillan. He's been coming on strong to end the year, and with Sterling Shepard out, he's not only going to get those strikes down the sideline, he's going to get a lot of those over the middle, shorter targets as well. He's going to have a full route tree in his repertoire today, mixed in, of course, with Mike Evans. So if you want some emergency starts that can help you take home your championship, Joe Flacco, Tajay Spears are Colts wide receivers, and Jalen McMillan. All right, guys, I want to remind you that if you need to find the most updated news, those inactive lists as they become posted 90 minutes prior to game time, go ahead and go to our website at wingmanfantasyfootball.com. Over there, there's a news aggregator and links to Twitter pages for prominent news reporters, and of course that inactive list, which is the most important. Go ahead and check out that site to get the most updated news that you may need going into the championship game today. I know all you guys aren't playing for championships only. Some of you guys are playing to get third place or seventh place. Nonetheless, go for it. Get your best outcome for your season. We are rooting for you all. And I also want to let you know this is our last Sunday morning quickie for the 2024 season. I know I want to thank you all who may have stumbled across us and those who have stuck around. We'll be back next year with even more content, a little more experience under our belt, and better shows for you guys. So go ahead and leave a comment. Let us know what we can do to make this show better or more enjoyable for you. Once again, thanks for joining us for this Sunday Morning Quickie. We will have one more 2-point conversation and perhaps a live stream on Monday night as our championships come to a close with that Lions 49ers game. So keep that in mind if you want to join us for a live stream and tell us about all those championships you guys are going to win. All right, with that being said, you can find our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn Radio, Amazon Music, and YouTube Music. And of course, you can find our video feeds at our YouTube page at wingmanfantasyfootball.com/YouTube. When you head over to that page, guys, go ahead, leave a like, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. And again, I want to thank you guys so very much for coming across our show and sticking around. It's my pleasure to bring these Sunday morning quickies to you, help you get your news, and hope you guys can win those fantasy championships. All right, guys, with that being said, may your glasses be full, your mugs stay frosty, and we will see you next time.